right, y'all, come on in the room. Come on in the room. We finna get this started. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready to get started? We got Dr. Derricka Harwell coming in just about 60 seconds. I'm gonna let everybody join in. We ready, we ready, we ready, we ready, we ready. Y'all know how long I waited for this interview? Okay. We definitely got to get the tea. Definitely. Because, baby, it's a lot of tea to get got. I'm just getting all the questions together still because people still asking questions down to the last second, which I don't mind. I don't mind at all. As long as y'all want to know, I want to know too. We in here. We in here. All right, y'all. It's 6 o'clock. Let me send the invite to Dr. Derricka. And let's get on. There she
Hey,
is. Hello. Look
it
at
took me
that.
a minute. You know, I'm navigating TikTok a little bit by bit. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm progressing day by day, but I am well. I won't complain.
That's great. I love your blazer. It looks
Thank
stunning.
you. This was in your video. I don't know if you remember. This is that 5K Dolce and Gabbana, so I thought it would be appropriate to pull it out today.
Very much appropriate. Very.
I thought it would be just a little bit appropriate.
Okay. I thank you so much for actually agreeing to do the interview with me. I want to start off with that. I really appreciate it. And thank you for being so transparent. You didn't deny any of the questions that I have for you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was like, let's get some answers for everyone.
All right, so I'm going to start off soft while everyone's still joining in. Just a few questions, just so everyone gets to know you, because a lot, well, not a lot. You have a large following. Some of my followers don't quite know you, so let's just start off. Just tell me a little bit. Like if I never met you at all, what are 3 things that you would want me to know about you?
That I'm very family oriented. I'm all about my family. I am a mommy of 7. I'm also a wife. I run very successful businesses that I built from the ground up. No handouts, no nothing. These were built from literally from my living room that I was renting back in the day. And the third thing would probably be I'm nothing to play with. I'm very sweet when I need to be sweet, but I'm very fierce when I need to be fierce. So I'm definitely nothing to play with. I think those are 3 important things that people should know about me.
All right, sounds good. Definitely, I definitely agree. And just for a sense of humility, name a tangible asset that you will never get rid of, and let us know why.
A tangible asset. I saw this. I thought this was really good. So I have 2. One, first of all, it would not be my Dolce blazer, right? It would be my main home. So, you know, I own a lot of real estate, but the main home that we spend at least 50% of the year in, this is where we raise our children, where we're having our Christmases, celebrating birthdays, where we gather around our dining room table and we have dinner every single night, where we're laughing and all of that. We're creating those memories. So I would never get rid of that home. My other thing would be my first wedding rings. I have this big bling because of where my husband is now in
Okay.
terms of our success. But my very first wedding ring looked nothing like this, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So those are 2 tangible things I would not get rid of because of the value that they hold to me that isn't monetary.
Okay. Nice. And like you're really well accomplished. And yeah, you started literally from the ground up. So can you name 3 people who you look up to today?
Oh, absolutely. So, number one would be my husband. My husband is somebody that I truly look up to. He probably tired of me saying this, but he grew me up a lot. The Dr. Harwell that you see before you today is not that 19-year-old that he met on Lane College campus. He is such a phenomenal human being outside of being my husband and father of my children. He is someone that I look up to, the way that he just conquers and continues to conquer in life. Um, The next person will be, I call her Miss Anna, but she is, we call her Auntie Anna rather, but she's Miss Anna to y'all. But she is the woman that accepted me into her home when I was homeless. I lived in a 1995 Ford Explorer, and she opened up her home to me and did not know me from a can of paint and was willing to assist me in getting me back on my feet. It was myself and my babies at that time. So much that she taught me in those moments and during that time that I still apply in my life today, that I still apply in my children's lives. She's just been so influential and so impactful. And we still talk. I literally texted her last week. We still keep in contact, and she lets me know she's so proud. It is public knowledge that I don't have super close relationship with my mom, so she has been like such a huge mother figure. Her and my Gwen, they've been such amazing mother figures in my life, and I'm so honored and so grateful to have them. The last person is gonna be my big mama. I talk about my big mama like it ain't nobody's business.
As you should.
And she is not living, but I definitely am still striving every single day to make her proud from the heavens and just pray that she's shining down on me and what I've been able to do. And in that, I'm still holding on to that legacy and strengthening it every single day.
Okay. All right. I like that. Not one celebrity. It's just all people you
Nah.
know. Wow, that's cool to have people who are actually like you look up to, that you actually know, like you can call and you have a personal relationship. That's actually amazing.
Absolutely. And that's just three, because I have so many more. That's just the three off the top of my head in no particular order. Let me say that, because I get off the interview and they'll be like, well, wait a minute. So that's just three of many, but those are the three I definitely wanted to make sure I shared.
Okay, we appreciate that. And just can you tell us a little bit about the day in the life of Dr. Derricka Harwell? Just like what does your life look like on any given day?
So my life is very different now. Just to be very transparent, my life is very different. Prior to everything that occurred, my life really revolved around my children. And a lot of people are like, what do you do? How do you do this? How you do it? My whole life is scheduled around gymnastics and taekwondo lessons and horseback riding lessons and tournaments. That was my whole entire life. So it's very different now because of the circumstance and what we're going through. Things have not normalized for us as of yet. They will very soon, but they have not as of yet. So we are home most of the time. We are home. A lot of things that I do are virtual, like what we're doing today. I do have some things coming up where I do have to travel, but now I'm traveling with security and notifying the FBI and the local police where I'm going to be and when I'm going to be there. So it's a lot different than what it normally is. But on the regular, my children run my life. They do.
All right. So mother, mogul, businesswoman, all in one.
Yes, I balance it all, and wife. I balance it all.
Let's not forget about that. That's a job in itself. Trust me.
Yes, it definitely is. It is. And I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
So I did do a little research on you, and you just all around seem like a really great person. Like,
Thank
do you have
you.
any enemies who would possibly want to harm you?
So let me take a sip before I hit that. let me I think let me get myself prepared for this one.
Gotta get
Okay.
down to it.
All right. So so here's the deal. I don't make a habit of making enemies. In fact, the type of lifestyle that I live is the exact opposite. I am someone that puts a lot of good into the community, as you can see from everything behind me, proclamations, presidential awards, a top 40 under 40, just so many awards for the things that I do. Nothing is handed to me in terms of these awards. I have earned each and every single one of them. And it's from the good that I put into the community. So I am not the type of person that has to live her life looking over her shoulder because I'm out here making enemies. Now, with that being said, that doesn't stop other people from saying I'm their enemy or creating me to be an enemy in their own mind. And unfortunately, I have no control over that. So do I personally go out and make enemies? Absolutely not. That is not a habit of mine. I don't even move that way, just to be very, transparent and open and honest with you. But is that being done? Absolutely. But what I can say right now, what's today's date? Tuesday, November 8th of 2022, I do have an enemy.
Okay,
and the feeling is mutual. Let me make sure that is there. The feeling is most definitely mutual.
And everybody's kind of wondering, how did we get to the point where this has happened? Like, what did you do to this person to deserve this? That's what everyone's just like wondering. Like, we know that Patrick is one of the people, because he is, an ex, and some people don't like their exes for whatever reason. We know about Sherelle. Sherelle made a video that this particular person did not like, so she wanted her removed. Mm-hmm. But when we saw Dr. Derricka Harwell, someone of your stature, who is just like, I didn't know they were, they knew each other. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of just like blindsided by you. And that's just the big question on, I guess, can you tell us about you guys' relationship from point A? Like, how did it start to how did we actually get here?
Okay, so I can't tell you how we got here, just to be very honest. I can tell you how it started, but I can't tell you how we got here. And that's simply because I would have to get into a particular mind frame that I don't possess, because I'm in my right mind and I'm sane. So I don't have the ability to convey what someone else that doesn't have the same mind frame of myself, to tell you exactly what their train of thought was, what their method, of thinking was, or theories or whatnot were. But I can tell you how it got started. So the relationship developed between this person and I simply because we were in the same industry. And there were a lot of people that were familiar with the both of us just because we are both a big deal in our industry. It's not a lot of people that look like us in that financial credit repair industry that were extremely successful. So we kind of stood out and had very similar stories and things of that nature. And I noticed, or it was brought to my attention rather, that every time an accomplishment was achieved, or any time that I went viral, or someone would share something that I had done, whether I paid someone's rent for the year, if I had fed a family with groceries, if one of my students made an extra $100,000 in the past 60 days, and they shared that information, they were blocked. And it was just crazy, like, what you were blocked. And so at first it was like, oh, okay, all right, no big deal, I don't even know who that is, and as time progressed, it continued to be more and more people. And one day, one of my students, who I absolutely love, she's one of my millionaires, you'll see her on my page this week, she was sharing how I assisted her in making $40,000, extra $40,000, and how I had assisted her in hitting her goals, which was to hit 7 figures. And she got blocked. She was just like, I can't believe I got blocked. Like, what happened? Like, what occurred? And so she really looked up to that person, in the industry, because things weren't revealed as they are now. So she wasn't aware of all the things. So she just looked up to this person in admiration. This is another woman in business and, all of that. And so I reached out. That is literally how it got started. Because I'm like, okay, I'm tired of people reaching out to me as if there's some type of big beef going on. I don't even eat beef. Okay. So I don't know what the issue is. I don't. So I don't even know what the issue is between her and I, but you're not going to continue to allude to this to other people that we have some type of drama. So I reached out. I said, hey, I literally went into her inbox and I said, hey, I'm actually pretty dope if you got to know me. And that is how we started our conversation. That led to our very first conversation, which was about 3 hours long. And I think I shared this with Petty Rowe. It was like a beautiful conversation in the moment. And now that I look back, I could see all the red flags. It's just eerie to me now. Just even
Right.
thinking about it, it's just like, ooh, like, okay.
Yeah.
So that is how that friendship or bond or acquaintance, if you will, was even formulated. It started off from something that was drama. And I know some people are like, well, why would you, even reach out to someone if they're blocking people? Why would you do that? So here's my thought process. If we are very successful in this particular industry, isn't it better if we connect versus beef with each other, versus fight with each other, versus go back and forth or give the illusion that there is some type of drama? There's already a perception of us as brown women in this particular industry. Why do you want to feed into that perception? I chose not to. So if this means I have to be the bigger person and extend the olive branch, and I did, I even sent Tiffany and Company diamonds, as, hey girl, listen, we have no drama, we have no nothing. And that was after our very first conversation, and she posted it, and I'm thinking, everything was good, whether we formulated a real friendship, or not. I was thinking, okay, good, the drama is done. I don't have to worry about anyone else reaching out or having any assumed drama associated with my name. So that is how we got started. How we got to where we are right now, you would definitely have to ask that person to get into their head, because I don't have the capabilities of having that type of mental capacity, unfortunately, or fortunately.
So you were blindsided. In other words, like there was nothing leading up to it. There was no argument. There was no conversation where you had that it was like, I don't like you. Like nothing like that. It was just
I was complete and totally taken back when the FBI knocked on my door. And the reason being is there was never an argument. Usually, when someone wants to see you unalived, it is because you've done something to them. You've affected their business. You've done something to their children. You've done something with their spouse. It's typically something that drastic. We didn't even have an argument. Once I was able to see precisely who this person was, and I was able to acknowledge the red flags for what they were, I cut it off. And my cutoff game is very serious. Once I'm done, I'm done. We don't have to have a conversation. We don't have to go back and forth. And I don't have to, let me say this as well. I don't have to exploit you once we are no longer close, because this person knows, even with all the information that has been shared publicly, the information I know hasn't been shared. So this person knows that, I am the type of person to, once the friendship is dead, so are all your secrets, so is all of that, other stuff and all that. But all bets are off in this interview, so please ask me anything. But I was always that type of person, I was always that type of woman. And it's not because of who you are, and my loyalty to you. It's my loyalty to myself as a woman. I'm just not going to continue to go back and forth. So we didn't have to have a conversation or an argument or anything of that sort in order for me to cut you off. And I don't have to give you an explanation, because again, once I'm done, I'm done. There's no need to explain, because even when I finish explaining, I'm still done. So why would I waste my energy? I was done. And in that dissertation that was written about me, that was said as well. I don't know why Derricka doesn't, bother with me anymore. I bought her a pair of shoes, and then all of a sudden, she cut me off, and it was, can I be all the way transparent? Can we have some tea together? So several of the red flags would occur, and then I would get a gift. So one of my things is, my gifting is my love language. And so you see my friends, you see, if you scroll on my page, I give Versace and, all the things, because these are my friends. We are successful business owners. We shower each other with various things. And so that was her way of attempting to speak my love language as well. But anytime I would have shade thrown at me, I would then get a gift in the mail. I would get, flowers after you just shaded me about the relationship with myself and my mother. It was weird. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not checking for this. I don't have the energy to give to this. This doesn't feed me, doesn't serve me, doesn't make me any money, doesn't, assist my children in any aspect, shape, or form. This is actually very draining. So I'm done. And I was done from that day forward. I was done.
What would be the motives? That's like a kiss of death. Like, what's the motive behind that? Why would you want
Crazy?
We can't understand a lot of things that that person does. We just can't. We can't. Sorry.
I don't think you
No
ever
person.
will. You know, when you look at a lot of people like that, they make movies about people like that. They do documentaries about people like that, and we still don't understand. We watch them, and it's entertainment for us, and we're intrigued by it. Unfortunately,
Definitely.
I was a part of it, so I wasn't as intrigued. I was a little more angered than intrigued, but don't worry, I'm handling that. But it was just really disgusting to me that, you know, you would attack me, and I haven't attacked you. I haven't exploited you, and there's so much that I could have said and done over the past 2 years in my silence. And I just continue to be the successful individual making impact, income, and change, and nothing else, no drama, no nothing else. That was it.
All right. And you did speak a little bit about the I guess the Facebook status that was made in regards to you. Um there was a few allegations or whatever in that post. Anything that you want to address?
Um, I don't make a habit of going back and forth. I'll say that. There's two places I don't go on social media, and that's back and forth with anybody, unless I'm paid to do so. But there are some things I will clear up. One is my husband. The allegations against my husband, those are defamatory things that are not representative of who he is and his character. My husband has never been a cheater. We've never dealt with those type of issues in our relationship or in our marriage. So that was absolutely disgusting to see displayed publicly.
Disgusting.
And there will be an answer for that in due time. But it was just really repulsive to see that you would attack someone you don't even know and attempt to go after them and attack their character and their being for no reason at all. And it was particularly disgusting to me because we had conversation about this. So it would be different if you had no idea, but you intentionally did this because you asked me about it. You asked me about my son that does not live with me, and I told you precisely what that situation was. So for clarity, for anyone that wants to know the tea in Dr. Harwell's business, I have a bonus son. It is not a product of my husband cheating on me whatsoever. My husband and I were together in a relationship just like anybody else in a relationship, dating somebody. We were active. So we had 2 children together, okay? Loved each other, but the relationship was no longer working. So we went our separate ways, no different than anyone else, you know, going their separate ways. And we dated other people. We were apart for 2 years, almost 2 years. And during that time, it's also when I was homeless. So I was even too embarrassed to tell him. A lot of people say, well, how were you homeless with a husband? He wasn't my husband, and he didn't know. We weren't even in a relationship together. And we decided once I had gotten back on my feet, and let me say this really quick. Let me tell you, since his character was attacked, let me tell you what type of husband I do have, since we are touching on this very briefly. During the time that I was homeless, I did not let him know. My husband was not aware, and I was living in Virginia at the time. I had went there to try to do some things different with my life and enroll into a different college. I had previously attended an HBCU, and my life just kind of bloomed like a flower. It did this and fell apart. So we wound up living in my 1995 Ford Explorer. I don't blame anyone for that except for myself for not being properly prepared. I was very immature. I just went through a lot of things. And my now husband, then baby daddy, was attempting to reach out to me. He was attempting to find out who I am, where I am, and what was going on with me and his children. Because even though we're not together, we still have these babies. And he wants to make sure his children are okay. That's the type of man he is. So when he could not get in touch with me, when he could not reach me, he left. He was actually living in California. So when I tell you we were opposite sides of the world, I was East Coast, he was West Coast, literally. He left California and he went all the way to Tennessee, where our daughters were born. And he went to Judge Little. Shout out to Judge Little, because she said she had never seen anything like this before. But he went to Tennessee and he went to put himself on child support. He walked into the courts and he said, listen, I cannot find this woman. I got babies out here. I'm not going to have babies out here, and I'm not taking care of them. So y'all need to find her and y'all give her these checks. Here's where I'm working at. I'm going to be working here, and I got an interview here next week. And this is what I got going on. And I also want to get rearage. You know, my babies, this one is 2 years old and this one should be X number of months at around this particular time. And this is, y'all need to take this and make sure that I am providing. That is the type of man that I'm married to. Now, because that's the type of man that I'm married to, you can understand why we later got back together and that became my husband. But again, that was 2 years
Husband,
later. And when we
period.
came back together, yes, when we came back together, he had a child. And I love my son. Oh my gosh, I love my son. I honor his mother for carrying him, for just being, she's such a huge part of him. So I have to love her, you know what I mean? To state that I even love him. And we have a beautiful, blended, respectable family, but there is no cheating whatsoever. So to clear my husband's name and assure that that is understood, although this was already a conversation, my husband and I are very happily married. There has never been anyone that has stepped out on anyone else whatsoever.
Sometimes I feel like people just want to project what's going on in their relationship on other people because they
Mhm.
man got some child support cases and stuff like that allegedly. So it's just like, girl, unpaid, should I say? Don't put that off. Deal
Yes.
with that at your home. Don't put that off on nobody else. Don't put that off on nobody
Yes,
else.
absolutely. And my home, let me say this as well, because there was some ignorant information put out about my home. So first and foremost, let me say, Dr. Harwell owns 54 pieces of real estate, both residential and commercial. And so picking and choosing which home you want to have a public conversation about, and then you only have a piece of the conversation, does not entitle you to even sit at the table and have the conversation. So first and foremost, anyone that considers themselves any type of financial guru or having any type of knowledge when it comes to real estate, you should be very well aware that purchase price and appraisal is not the exact same. Like if I purchase something, excuse me, and I teach people how to purchase real estate for as low as $500, it does not mean that that building, that structure, that land is worth $500. So getting our facts together, understanding what it is before we say that we are financial gurus and we are investing this and we are investing that, please understand that if I purchase something for multi six figures and I put multi six figures in it and I get an appraisal for $1.6 million, it is worth $1.6 million. That is not rocket science. So just be careful of the people that you admire for their knowledge and for their wisdom. Assure that that can be accredited.
I mean, it's a red flag when someone's paying $20,000 out of pocket for a surgery because why don't you have health insurance? It's just certain things are red flags, and people should kind of, I guess, sit back and think about it instead of just trusting the information someone is providing. Because at the end of the day, I don't care if you have $50 million. Who wants to waste $20,000 when paying $6,000 a year for the insurance will cover it? Like, it makes no
Mhm.
sense. So yes, definitely. From the way you live, you walk it and you talk it. So that
I do
alone,
indeed.
that's why I kind of looking and I put the video together about Ashley wanting to be you because that's what I got from it. I got that she literally wants to be you. It was too many similarities. It was too. If anybody watched the video, I put it all together for you guys with receipts. It was too many. I did this. Now you do that.
Mhm.
And it's like you're doing it, but you're not doing it all the way around. You can't. They can't do it like the original. Point blank. Period. And I got to give
Yes.
that to you. You are
Thank
definitely.
you.
You are one
Thank
of a
you so
kind.
much.
One of a kind.
Thank you. Those were huge red flags. It's so funny. I told the very first time I ever filed a police report against this individual, as well as my most recent conversations with the FBI. I said, I feel like I'm in a movie and it's gonna go in my favor. So I need you to do what you do, okay? Because this is gonna end one of two ways, and we want this to end favorable and with justice. And so I'm going to move accordingly, and I need you to do so as well. So we're all in agreement of what needs to occur here. But I told them I felt like I was in the movie Single White Female.
Wow.
That is literally, I don't know how much they're going to release once everything is complete, but you will see that as a part of one of my many statements. Like, oh, Dr. Harwell said she felt like she was in a movie. I sure did. That's what it felt like.
It's definitely feeling. It's really dramatic. It's really
Mhm.
dramatic, it got dramatic at the point when you and Patrick got involved. That's when it was like, what's really going on here? Like, this person is not mentally stable, because this is just coming out of literally clear blue sky. It's like you're just sitting there in La La Land. You're like, what do I want to do today? I want to get them taken out. Like, what? Who does that?
Well, let me say this. In Sherelle's defense as well, I don't think that that was justified either. So, how you
No.
handle things as a prominent professional, as someone that is a seven-figure businesswoman, there were some things that were put on display with a disgruntled tenant, which we'll get to later. But I handled that in the interim. Like I said, there are two places I'm not going to go on social media with people, and that's back and forth. Why am I going to yell and scream and curse and do all this to you on social media when I can click a button and make multi six figures here? I change lives here. This is a place where people are looking up to me. I'm speaking in the high schools. These students are looking to me to present myself in a particular manner. So why am I going to give you a piece of me? And then it's the worst piece of me, to begin with, when I can just contact my legal team, who is an undefeated legal team, and I can handle you in court. And I do exactly what I do, which is what I did with that particular individual, that disgruntled tenant. And I didn't have to publicly display that I was suing her for defamation of character after I evicted her. And I didn't go live when I put all her stuff on the curb. And then when I garnished her bank accounts, that's all public record. If you want that tea, Google it. So, for me, certain things were done because there isn't enough mental stability, in my personal opinion, with someone that is in a position to do this or do that. You almost feel like a bully. You almost feel like, oh, I'm mighty and I'm powerful. But if you were, then you would know how to handle things accordingly.
Exactly.
So I think it was already a mess before it was displayed. And to be clear, I was actually contacted first. So I had endured things with dealing with emotions when it came to the FBI, because Sherelle hadn't posted, Patrick hadn't posted. It was after the FBI had knocked on my door that I realized that they were a part of this as well. I thought it was just me. So I had no idea until later I got a screenshot of Sherelle making a post saying that the FBI contacted her. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. This girl is innocent. Like, what in the world? Like, and if you were upset with this person, just get your attorney. Just do what you need to do, this way. But I mean, realistically, this is nothing about this is normal. Nothing.
Yeah, I still wake up some days amazed at like how we're here and what's going on and why someone would want to do the things. And I kind of know a little bit more in detail. Well, I guess I mean, I would only imagine that you would know the details that I know, because Sherelle's my friend, so I'm kind of have an inside scoop on what's going on. But it was said that she did not mind if it was done in front of your children, and that speaks to who that person is, and that I think was the most disgusting part of it all. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
even if you did want, this person unalived or whatever, you didn't even have the common decency to say, just, try to make it clean, fast, no pain, whatever, like discreet location, parking structure, no, you said, no, at home in front of your kids, Christmas dinner.
Mm-hmm. I
Like,
think that I am practicing a level of restraint that is very foreign to me. At times, it's very difficult. On a regular, it's extremely difficult, but there are moments that are very difficult because I don't think that people realize how much myself and my entire family is affected. People don't realize that, oh, okay, she just got this against her. But yeah, my life is a little different. And if my life is different, you have to imagine the lives of my family. This is totally different. I have shared previously, my kids are all homeschooled. And so, because they're homeschooled, it's very important to me that they socialize and that they are involved in extracurricular activities. So, they ride horses, they are equestrian kids, they do taekwondo and mixed martial arts. Some of them was ready to fight. Okay. My girls, they do gymnastics, and they've been doing this for years. And my 13-year-old, who I absolutely love, she loves gymnastics, and she fought so hard for the past 2 years to be a part of special teams. She loves Gabby Douglas, and she fought so incredibly hard. And so she finally makes it, and now she hasn't been at practice in 2 months. She's disqualified. She can't go out there and compete. She can't go and do this. And so you sit and cry on the couch with your 13-year-old because she's affected by a woman that is absolutely insane. That then she's like, Mama, this doesn't have anything to do with me. We didn't do anything to her. Why am I missing out? It's not fair. So I'm gonna try my best not to get emotional, but it affects me as a mother. It affects me, because my son, he's supposed to be a black belt by Christmas. He has not been to a practice since this started. You get demoted. You cannot keep the same rank that you had, and you're not going to practice. You're not, doing this. This is not fair that they are affected by this. This is not fair that they're watching their mom be affected by this. This is not fair I'm saving this woman's life every day by keeping my husband where he's at. Okay. So it is not fair that my family has to endure this at all. But we definitely will have the solution that I desire in the end.
So can I ask you, how transparent are you with your children about what's going on?
My oldest two, my teenagers, are aware. We have shared with them because, we live in the land of social media. They're teenagers. Things are changing so much that things have changed so much that there are certain things we just couldn't keep from them, with them being older. My youngest four, we have not really shared a lot with them. They are frustrated, I think, so we are just letting them know that we're very protected. They are watching mommy and daddy, deal with officers all the time. They've never seen this much police presence in our home, around our home. They're not fully aware, but they know something is going on, but they're just kind of moving how we, ask them to move. We had a situation where, probably a week after the FBI left, I was going through something mentally dealing with all of this. And I have huge cathedral style ceilings in my home, like 25-foot or bigger ceilings, and these huge windows. And so my son was on the second floor where the ceilings, and the windows are. And it freaked me out. He was standing there too long for me, and it freaked me out. And so I went and I just grabbed him. I hugged him, and I was rocking and I was crying. I'm like, son, you cannot stand in front of the window. And he's just like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? And I'm holding him, hugging him, crying. My husband had to come and grab me. He's like, mommy's okay. She just wants you to be safe. She just wants you to be safe. And that's when I realized this is not normal. Nothing about this is normal. So that night we actually went to one of our other homes to try to be more comfortable. But again, before we relocated, had to contact the FBI, local police department. We're getting ready to relocate. Nothing about this lifestyle is normal. So yes, we've had conversation with them. My oldest two that are teenagers are very much aware of what's going on. They refer to this woman as the evil lady. She doesn't even have a name in our home. They just refer to her as the evil lady. But my youngest, they aren't as aware.
All right. And I'm sorry again that you're going through this. I can only imagine, like Sherelle's my friend, so I see what she's going through on her end. And it just breaks my heart that people who don't deserve this are going through such a terrible time that could have been avoided by probably, if the person would have just got on some medication, it would have probably this whole situation been avoided. And I'm just so
Absolutely.
sorry.
I'm a firm believer in mental health and taking care of your mental health. And I blame myself at the beginning of this. I was like, if I had never known this person, if I had never, ever, hopped in her inbox, like, girl, we could just be cool. We don't have to beef. I'm actually pretty dope. We would never be going through this. But the reality of the situation is I became privy through a mutual friend that this obsession, is what we'll call it, was actually occurring before I even knew who this person was. This is why you were blocking people prior to even having a conversation with me. You didn't even know me. So there was nothing that could have been done to prevent this. This was already made up in this person's mind,
Yeah. And I know you mentioned a little bit about your husband. Can you tell us a little bit more about like how he's dealing with the situation? How is he coping? Because he naturally wants to protect his wife, I'm sure. And then despite just this female being involved in the situation, we all know that behind her is another man that's involved in the situation. So it has to be hard for him as the protector of his home not to interject himself into the situation.
Absolutely. It's been so hard to get through this without crying, talking about my family, and now talking about my husband. So I'm gonna try to keep it together because I don't want to be anybody's meme tomorrow. But my husband is naturally a protector, just naturally, long before this situation. And he is such a protector that he protects my mental, he protects my spiritual, he covers me in the physical, he prays over me. He is a protector of not just me, but his entire family. So this is incredibly heightened for him. I will share this. One of the nights that we had the police officers in our home, and it was about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the a.m., and that's my life now. We were all in our dining room, and I literally sat there and I heard my husband talking to the officer, and he said, you know, my wife is about to see that I would die for her. And that hit me really hard because we're 36 years old. I've known him since I was 18. We've been together since we were 19 years old. And he's always been that way. He's always been that protector. And I would never want to lose my husband to something like this. But to hear him that ready and ready to fight and ready to go to war about his wife, about his family, he was ready. And he let police officers know, like, it pierced me. You know, it was just, I hated that we were even in this circumstance. So I'm trying my best to protect him as he is protecting me, and we are protecting our children together.
And it just seems like the longer the FBI waits to make an arrest, it's like the more torment and torture that all the victims involved are going through. And do we have any type of sign or update as to when something is going to be done?
Oh yeah, I'm working. I will say that. I am definitely adamant about getting the result that I desire. This is not something that is going to go away by far. It will be over my dead body before this goes away, before this ceases, before this stops. I have endured entirely too much. My family has endured entirely too much. So we will absolutely get the solution that will be 100% satisfaction to me, to my family, to my husband, and to the other victims that are involved. So I am on top of this. Please understand and please believe there's only so much that I can share, but the FBI is a part of my day-to-day routine. My attorneys are a part of my day-to-day routine. The police are a part of my day-to-day routine. So this is not something that is ever going to go away for this person. And it will definitely be coming to a close.
All right. And do you, this is a weird question. I don't know how to ask it. I don't want to ask who. How many people do you want to see held accountable? Because there's more than just one person involved. So can you give us a number? How many people you want to see held accountable for this?
I would like to see every single person that has something to do with the plotting, planning, scheming, and attempted execution of myself and any other individuals, any other innocent lives, to face the law at 100%. And I will not stop until I see that.
I totally agree. That was a great way to answer it. I don't have a lot of more questions for you. I just want to know, like, are you okay? Like, besides everything, social media, and when I know you're busy every day working, just doing a ton of things. Like, when you get home alone by yourself, are you okay?
I think I'm getting there. I think that I'm at a place now where I'm finally starting to get somewhat normal. I think that there are a lot of people that depend on me. You know, I employ a lot of people. I give a lot of job opportunity to a lot of people, a lot of students, a lot of young people. There's so much that I do in the community. I literally, before we hopped on here, I was on with my PR agent, like, hey, I still need to give away Thanksgiving dinners. I still need to take care of my community. Like, I'm still, you know, trying to not lose me in this process, which is very difficult because I'm also trying to make sure my children don't lose themselves and my husband doesn't lose himself, and that we don't lose our business, because it's difficult to get onto social media now. I spent so much time not speaking that it led to people creating their own narratives about who I am. And I didn't want to speak. I never intended to speak. Let me just say that. So this isn't a clout thing. I'm a very private person. And I appreciate you, because one of your videos, let me just give you your flowers. You said, listen, Dr. Harwell ain't came out yet because she's a private person. Like it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. And everybody else, I'm like, he gets it. When I can speak, this is who I want to speak to. So I'm very private. I had no intention on ever coming out, but then people started attacking me and attacking my business. Were the girls scamming together? Were they friends and doing this? Did this happen? And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're attacking my business now. I have to say something. I have to speak out. And then the fake pages on TikTok and YouTube of that former tenant, and I'll clear up that situation if you want me to as well in just a moment. But all of that led to me speaking out. So now I have to put myself in a position where I have to get back on social media, which gave me horrific anxiety, because I went from being this prominent professional who minds her own business, who cut somebody off and never spoke of them again, to now I'm a public victim. And because I'm not speaking, now I'm being attacked. Like, it is just insane. Like, I did nothing to warrant this, So I am dealing as best as I possibly can, just taking things day by day. Every day is something different. Every day is something new, depending on what happens with the FBI that day, what happens with the attorneys, that day, what happens with the police that day, or just even what I need to do. Derricka, you need to go live. And now I've got horrific anxiety because I can't press that button right now. I'm just not in a place right now, because I just dealt with this with my child who's unhappy because this is what life is at the moment. So I'm dealing day by day, and I'm taking it one step at a time for me. But that is why I'm so adamant of assuring that I get the solution that I desire with all of this. So I appreciate you concerned about if I am okay. And I think that at some point I will get there.
Okay. We're still praying for you. A lot of us are still praying every day. We're all waiting for a solution. I as well want to see a few people held accountable. I won't say names, but yeah, definitely more than one.
Absolutely.
In regards to the video, see, I kind of did my own research, so I know that there's this disgruntled tenant who made some videos a few years back, and she was ultimately sued for defamation. You won the case. She was like, you took her money, and then her like boyfriend paychecks got garnished, all kinds of stuff. Like, you won. You defeated her. She will
I
not say a
won
word.
one. Yes, and I didn't say a mumbling word about it. So I did. I had someone residing in one of my properties, and they had not fulfilled their financial obligation of the rent. And instead of attempting to have a conversation or try to work things out, they went to social media because they were served with proper documentation for them to be removed. They then went on this entire rant and wanted to go back and forth with me and all this because they know that social media is considered a place of employment for me, So they wanted to go back and forth and, all the things. And I just chose not to do that. So I not only won in court to have them evicted and have them put out of that home, but then I also took them to court again because I sued them for defamation of character. Additionally, I then garnished their entire bank accounts. And when that did not suffice for what I was owed, I proceeded to then garnish the paychecks up to 25% for each paycheck until I was paid in full. And that too is public record. So this particular individual attempted to then use those videos that this person made to deflect from what the case was, to deflect from what they were doing and what they were accused of, to attempt to make it seem as if I am this, mean, evil person that puts people out, that, wants to harm individuals or, anything of that sort. And that's not myself. That's not my character. I didn't even continue to, like I said, go back and forth with this individual. I took it to the attorney. The attorney handled it. Then I took it to my judgment recovery specialist. I have a full legal team. So once I get my judgment, I get my coin.
Okay.
And that was that.
I want everybody to know that all the videos that I've seen about this lady speaking are I couldn't find anything from 2022. I can't find this lady said a Facebook status or nothing. So I don't know why the videos are resurfacing, but yeah, it's all disregarded. It's been proven as illegitimate, so I refuse to listen to anything that lady has to say. I don't like when people try to bring our people down for no reason. And that's not nothing that I will be a part of. I will refuse to share anything that is associated with that. All the research that I have done is absolutely astounding. Like, I didn't know you were from Milwaukee. We're from the same place.
Yes, that's my proclamation. So August 9th is Derricka Harwell Day in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So you have to celebrate as my fellow Milwaukeean.
I'm definitely
So yeah, I'm very well decorated. But yes, Mayor Tom Barrett, before he was appointed mayor of Luxembourg by President Biden, I received that from Tom Barrett. So yes, I am from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, graduate of Rufus King High School.
Yes, come through, Rufus King. And yeah, you've done a lot of philanthropy. Even like our inbox one girl, she had made a status about you. So, me doing my research, I inboxed her actually. Okay. And she had all good things to say. And she was like, you did things for her behind closed doors and stuff. And I'm just like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, even when I'm trying to
I do a lot of things that I don't post because I feel like it's not, I do things that I have to post, you know what I mean? Because I have this PR team, I have this brand, I have this business, and people want to know, if you make this type of money, then what are you doing for the community? So there are things that I do put out there. Like I said, I'm getting ready to have this Thanksgiving dinner thing. But yeah, there are a lot of people that will tell you if you inbox them, especially the people on listen, if you are on here and you are supporting me, I can support you. And nobody has to know. It is not anybody's business that I bought you a loaf of bread. It is not anybody's business that I kept your lights on or I paid your rent or anything of that sort. So there are probably hundreds of people that can tell you within this year alone, oh yeah, Dr. Harwell did this, or her husband did this, and they took care of this, and we never posted it. People don't want to be exploited. I don't do anything for clout. That's just me. There are things that are done for marketing. There are things that are done for your business, of course. But the bulk of what I do is behind closed doors.
All right. They said in the comments they got questions. I'm like, I think we answered the questions. Y'all a little late.
They coming in late. They almost 50 minutes late coming in with questions.
Coming in like open question. I don't know how to open a question box. Ask the questions in the comments and we can answer. I don't think there's anything that Dr. Derricka doesn't want to answer.
I don't see any questions. It just tells me people are following the host. But again, I'm not really familiar with TikTok, but I don't see any comments.
I don't see any questions. What questions are asking? Okay, we could take 3 questions. If y'all ask questions in the comments, I can ask her, but y'all are not.
Somebody said I sponsored tickets to their comedy shows. I remember that. Yeah, she was an entrepreneur. I think there were 2. So one thing about me, fun fact, I love comedy. I will binge watch like Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3. I love things that make me laugh. And so when I saw that she was a follower of mine and she was a comedian, I was like, well, let me buy up these seats and let's get some cheeks in the seats and you can give them away on your page. So I sure did. But I didn't post it and share it like, she just said. So, somebody said, I can't see your comments. So that's why I'm only seeing 1 or 2 comments because they're showing up on your side. But I see it on my side.
Because they asked me over here, they saying, I guess you said you had secrets. So they want to know what secrets do you have? It's so messy.
Ooh, about to get real good.
What's the secrets, Dr. Derricka?
This is real good. What would you like to know, my darling? What would you like to know?
I didn't know there were secrets. Like, okay, so I guess you said y'all had a phone call and it was eerie. I know someone had that question. Like, can you tell us anything specifically about what you guys talked about on the phone?
Absolutely. I was a part of that phone call. That was a almost 3 hours, if not over 3 hour phone call. At the time, I felt like it was a beautiful phone call because I felt like we had so much in common, just as if, I would have that conversation with you and tell you, hey, oh, your dad is this, my dad is this. Oh, you had a baby at this time, or you miscarried at this time, I miscarried at this time. It was really weird. At that time, I felt like we were bonding. I felt like, oh my gosh, this girl is just like me. We've gone through some of the same things. You don't have this type of relationship with your mom. I've been through this with my mom. My dad, and it's no secret, I reconnected with my dad after 30 years. My dad was incarcerated. He lives an amazing life now. But I was just like, oh my gosh, I just reconnected with my dad. And she's like, I just reconnected with my dad. It was at that point in time, I thought it was so great. And now that I look back and knowing that you had already looked me up and had known certain things, it was extremely eerie to me. It was very sick to me. It was one of those things, like one of those movies where, the guy watches the woman and then he becomes everything for her, but he has this hidden motive. That's what it felt like as I reflected, but it didn't feel like that in the moment. I just felt like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. We have so much in common. Why is there beef, girl? Like, but not realizing like, okay. And I actually even found her in some of my comments for posts that I had in 2016.
Wow.
2016.
She watched you
Yes.
for a while. Just
I was like, oh
commenting.
my gosh, she is in the comments under one of my posts from 2016. And I didn't know who she was then. So that's what even made it like creepier. Like, what? Wait a minute.
So crazy.
Wait,
Oh my God.
this is eerie.
So basically, when y'all was talking on the phone, you're like, my favorite color is blue. She's like, girl, mine too.
Yes.
And she just
It was
copied,
my
like,
red. She was like, I love red. And my story behind me loving red is different than her story of red just being her favorite color. When I was younger, I dressed up, and it's so crazy because I didn't understand the foreshadowing of this, but I share this story on my Facebook page. I dressed up as Selena for Celebrity Day, and I was at Roosevelt Middle School of the Arts in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And so I had this red lipstick, and an adult told me I was way too dark to be wearing red lipstick, and it like crushed me. And it hurt me so bad because you're already dealing with the children telling you you're too dark for this, you're too skinny for this. You're already dealing with children bullying you. You would look to an adult, to uplift you. And so now in my adulthood, I own that. Red is my color, and I will rock red anywhere. Most of my award ceremonies and all of that, I wear this dresses that are red, ball gowns, whatever the case may be. That is my color. But yeah, she's like, oh my God, that's my favorite color too. And at that time, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so dope. And now I'm like, okay.
Right. I'm
That's
okay.
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 So yeah, what I thought was like, super dope conversation was just, to me, I look back now and I'm like, oh, all right. Okay, I see it for what it is.
All right. So every time I see a picture of you or you on live or anything, your hair is always slayed.
Thank you.
What do you think about the wigs? We're gonna call them the wigs. Do you have any recommendations? Can you see the stylist?
Available at DerrickaHarwell.com. Let me. Oh goodness! This is the Wendy Williams. This is the how you doing moment that I thought I was gonna get. Thank you for giving it to me.
They asking in the comments. I'm just a messenger.
Oh my gosh. I will say this. As a wig wearer, a former wig wearer, I got tired of that. I struggled personally with not finding anything that looked natural on my beautiful brown skin. I wanted something that would assist me in giving me the look that represented who I am. And I wasn't able to achieve that until I cut all of my hair off one day. So for me, the professional look is something that's always crisp, clean, flowy, natural, beautiful, and and that allows people to see you and who you are. Your hair is a representation of who you are and how you feel and all of that. So your locks, my brother, are absolutely amazing. They're powerful and they speak to who you are and what you represent. So I think that anything that you do should be aesthetically pleasing to represent yourself. So if your hair is not together, if your face is not together, if your clothes are not together, and you are presenting yourself to the world, you may want to take a step back and get yourself together, because you're going to be judged. People are going to have something to say. The people are going to have something to say no matter what, but people are going to have something to say. But on those wigs specifically, I have no comment.
It's just so crazy because, like, when I look at you, look like money, like not just money. You look like old money. Like, when I see that person, it's like it's new money. Like, you have, all I see is labels, designer, but it doesn't come together. There's no cohesiveness. You don't look rich. You talk about money all day, but you don't look rich. You can walk down the street and I would not notice anything. You can walk down the street and nothing but a plain jogging suit with sneakers, and I'd be like, she's money. I can tell.
Well, thank you.
So,
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I definitely take a lot of pride in the way that I present myself to the world, because I am an example, not just to my children, but remember, I'm in the school systems, so I'm going to high schools, specifically high school graduating seniors, and giving them education on credit and financial literacy and all the things. I have to present myself in a certain way. So I take a lot of pride in the way that I look, because, that's all we have before we actually open up our mouth and speak and have the opportunity to present ourselves. Kind of like our credit reports, it speaks for us before we have the opportunity to say anything.
Right, and your receipts are real. Okay.
Indeed. I've never had any paid actors. I've never had to fraudulent create anything or none of that. And let me say this, that was something that I was shaded on as well, because my receipts come from actual people. And so with those people, not everyone wants their face and income plastered all over the internet. So as a prominent professional, I have to respect that. I have to understand that people go through different circumstances and situations all the time. I had someone recently, she literally hit $100,000 a month, and I could not wait to post it. And she was like, I'm going through this divorce situation and I don't want to, this. And I wouldn't want to exploit her. I wouldn't want to take that away from her, whether she was going through that situation or not. I would want to respect her privacy. And so it was once said that, if you can't tag your people in what you're posting, if you can't do this, and then to later have some of those same people come forward and then say, oh, I was paid to be placed here, it definitely speaks to what that business represents and what those practices were. Okay. But all real receipts over here at Derricka Harwell Enterprises.
Period. Because I'm a person that research receipts. Like, when you say this person made this much, I went on that person's page. I went back like a year or two, and I looked at receipts, and I want to see what they're doing today. Is they still doing good today? And today, this person's talking about they just got off work and they working at Wendy's. What? So how they made $30,000 in 30 minutes last year? Now they're at Wendy's. Make it make sense. So
yes, listen, and I actually have a private group called the D Harwell Private Group, where a lot of my students are there, and you'll see some of my most successful students are there, and they're vocal. Kahari Turner of Turner Technology, she's one of my favorites. She's at 6 figures monthly now, which is amazing, because I remember when we first got her to $16,000 in a month and how excited she was over that. And she drops those real receipts. And she's always in the comments like, y'all, this works. Let me show you what I've done. Let me show you what my lifestyle is. Salome Bay, also Salome Knox. She's one of my millionaires, and I absolutely love her. She's in the financial industry and real estate industry, which is huge for me as well, bringing another woman of color into this particular position. And she had already started. I didn't create who she is, but I just assisted in enhancing and creating an additional blueprint that helped her reach levels that she didn't think were possible. And now she's a 7-figure businesswoman, and she's amazing. And she shares that. And she's like, yes, this is my wealth coach, and she got me here, and if you got something to say about it, She is absolutely amazing and so sweet. So those receipts are real, and you can kind of tell simply because I also share a little bit about them, and it's not just a tear jerker to bring your emotion in, but it's really what they were going through. Their job. If they did this of income with this particular job that they once had, they would have had to work 3,000 hours, and they just did this in 30 minutes. So it's really putting things into perspective to let other people know you have the opportunity to do this. And most importantly, everybody's not built to be an entrepreneur, nor do they care to be. So I just present you with the opportunity to gain some additional income through my coaching, through my courses and things of that nature, because I love my teachers, I love my nurses. When I go to the hospital, I want the best one that's here. So I don't minimize anyone that has a 9 to 5 for having it, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to produce some additional income on the side. And so you can utilize the courses and things of that nature for that.
All right. Well, just a personal question. I want to know, how did you make your first million? Was it like Credit Repair Cloud?
It was. So that's my millionaire award that's right here. I got that for doing $3.7 million in 1 year.
Okay, so
that was my first.
You got all your fingers, nothing got cut off?
All of them are here.
Okay, no settlements, all finger. Okay, y'all.
Yeah, you see them all, and they're all attached. I was born with these. Yes. There was nothing else. And my story, you can Google it, you can look it up. I shared my story about my homelessness and how Miss Anna took me in and all that. None of that is fabricated, or, nobody gave me a check or anything of that sort. So I'm here for the petty, though.
No, I'm being serious. We got to ask these questions because we've been fooled before. We've been fooled before. We found out.
I'm not here to fool you, I promise.
And people in the comments, they want you to speak on this person's marriage, but I could not find a marriage license, so I don't know if we could speak on a marriage that may or may not exist.
I can honestly say that during the duration that we were acquaintances or even speaking, they were in the dating stages. So I can't truly speak on the marriage. I can only speak on the dating stages, which were eerie to me then. But I can't say for sure if there's a marriage certificate. I didn't attend a ceremony. I wasn't a part of that by any means. So I can't make you privy to something information or knowledge I don't have, and I don't want to make any assumptions about anything, especially without doing my research.
Have you ever met them
But I don't care to research that.
Have you met them in person?
I have never met her in person. We were attempting to meet one time when I was pregnant with my daughter. She had actually come to Memphis, and we were just kind of tit for tat. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just hop in my wagon, my little G-Wagon. I was like, I'll drive here and I'll meet you. And she was like, I'm already gone. And, so we never had the opportunity to meet in person.
She want you to see the fingers. That's what they say in the comments.
I get that now. I can understand that. But I will say this, I'm a very open and nurturing and understanding person. So I'm not exactly sure if that was it, considering what type of person I am and what type of friend, that I had been that entire time. So I don't know, but it could have been embarrassing. When you have your own insecurities about yourself, right. That's something that we, tend to mask and want to mask and keep as private as we possibly can. And that's with any insecurity. You notice people that don't like their teeth, you see them not smiling, or they'll cover, when they do that stuff, you feel a certain way about yourself. It's just natural, to not want to put it on display for others. But I can't say, I don't know. I never met her in person.
So when she did give you any details about the relationship, people in the comments, they want to know what was eerie about the relationship with the girl, Joanna. What are we gonna call her? Because
I don't know. I don't want to call her him. I don't want to call it anything. I will say that there were, for me, I'll say this, because the way that I view a relationship with any spouse or partner is that you are equally yoked. And I know for me personally, that's what I look for. That may not be what everyone is looking for, in your relationship. And it doesn't necessarily have to be financially equally yoked. You can be at a spiritual level and one person can be here, the other one can be there. You can grow each other. I just did not get those type of vibes. From this particular couple. So we didn't have a lot of conversation. I actually had more conversation with her and her spouse when she was with Pat. So I didn't have a whole lot of conversation when she was with her current or alleged husband.
Okay. There's a lot about the whole thing that the relationship with Pat. I don't really keep up with it, but allegedly they said that it ended. Was she allegedly posted that he was abusive, and now everyone's saying that that was never true. That have you ever heard her tell you anything about that man abusing her, anything like that?
So I will say, because we never met in person, I wasn't physically there. In any type of knowledge that I am privy to, it is biased because it comes from one party. But I was shared one particular situation between the two of them, but I'm not exactly sure what occurred. So I don't even feel like it's fair for me to speak on it, just because I don't want to downplay one person and it actually went this way, just because, there's two sides to every story and then there's the truth. But there's a lot to be said about that particular relationship, but I don't think that I'm the person to say it, simply because I wasn't in it. But there were definitely some red flags that were there as well. But I just feel like, people are people. Relationships go through, whatever it is that they go through. And I think that my hope would have been that things should have been kept private, and not put on a public display for people to judge. If my husband and I ever have a disagreement, because we don't argue, I don't argue with my husband. He taught me a long time ago. He's never going to argue with me. But if we ever have a disagreement or something that we need to sit down and have a conversation over, the world is not going to know about that. The World Wide Web is not going to know, that we had to sit down and talk about, X, Y, and Z. So I just feel like certain things should just be kept private. Everything is not for social media.
Social media, right. Correct. You're absolutely correct. Have you heard the song She Ate It Up?
Oh.
You ate it up!
You should have waited till I put my...
I'm sorry.
Should have waited till I put my mug down.
Call the cops.
Well, it did go number one on Apple iTunes.
We too hot to the car. He snapped. I love it.
So I'm a Tupac fan. It's so funny because if you look at some of my old posts when I was close with my mom, there's a video of her joking about how Tupac was almost my daddy. So you got to know I'm a Tupac fan because of who my mom is. But yes, to answer your question, I absolutely heard the song.
I play it daily.
I did hear it.
I'm petty. I play it daily. I ride down the street and I bump it, put it on my Snapchat, all that. It's hilarious to me.
Is it your ringtone too when people call? Is that
I'm about to change it to it. What? I don't care. I love that song. He did a really great job.
Oh Lord, I'm here for it. I am here for it. I will say, I have reserved my petty and I have been practicing restraint, but I did almost run a sale and the promo code was going to be Ate It Up. I will say that, but I stopped and I decided not to be petty. But I did hear the song. I did not participate in it.
That's hilarious.
In any of that. So.
Can I ask how Derricka is preserving her peace?
Oh gosh. You said what now?
My publicists want to know how you're preserving your
Someone
peace.
wants to know, how are you preserving your peace?
Within the whole situation, how are you preserving your peace within everything that's going on within the federal investigation and all that? How are you preserving your peace?
He's been on how you're preserving your peace.
I actually, the FBI assigned me an FBI victim.
How you're preserving your peace.
I actually, the FBI assigned me an FBI victim specialist to assist me with navigating through this emotionally because I dealt so poorly with exactly what was occurring at the beginning. And so I'm in stages now where I can laugh, where I'm okay, where I have happy moments. And I try to hold on to those moments as much as I can so that when I get in those dark spaces, I can try to revisit those moments. But I am in therapy, assigned with a referral from the FBI. So I'm going through their stuff to go through therapy. I was heavily medicated at the very beginning with therapy as well, just so that I could cope, which is a huge part of my depression. That was something I did not deal with very well. If you know me and you know part of my story, you know my father dealt with addiction. His mother dealt with addiction. My mother's mother dealt with addiction. So I am someone that doesn't like to pick up an aspirin. I literally had a whole cesarean where I had the worst cut. I had a T cut in order for them to get my baby out. So they had to cut me this way and then cut me going up because she had growth restriction. It was just a huge thing. And I didn't mess with those pain meds. So my husband is like literally watching me like hunched over, trying to heal. And then my stitches split open. And I just went through all the things and I went through it as naturally as I possibly could because I don't want to take anything. I don't want to risk that. I don't want to be that. It's just, I know that it's probably just a psychological thing, but I didn't want any type of meds. Like, I can get through this. The body heals itself. And he watched me cry my way and claw my way, to my healing. And so even having to finally say, yes, I'll take some medicine because I'm not okay. And I'm not, dealing well with where I am right now. That was even difficult. Like, there was anxiety with even deciding to pick it up, to take it. I would sit there and look at it. Like, it was huge anxiety dealing with that as well. So, finding my peace now means meditation. It means prayer. My father's the pastor, so I often call my dad for a lot of guidance, a lot of prayer. It means surrounding myself with people that are praying for me and not praying on me. Everyone in my circle they're just such powerful spiritual people, all the way to my chef. Shout out to Chef Tam. That is one of the most powerful women of God, and that's whose food I'm eating. It is, even the food I'm eating is anointed. I need all of that, at this point, with what I'm doing and where I am in my life. So those are some of the things that are keeping me sane. My friends checking on me, sending me affirmations, sending me scriptures. Hey, sis. And they know I shut down. So it may be a day and it might be tomorrow where I just don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to lay here and just sit in it for a minute. And they'll send me a message. Okay, I called you 3 times. I get it. You don't want to talk, but I'm just letting you know I'm here for you. And they'll send me something from Psalms, just read this in your spare time. That is helping me get through it. My babies are helping me get through it. My husband, excuse me, he's helping me get through it as well because it's difficult. So that's how I've been finding my peace.
So I think people in the comments, y'all have to understand that this is a real life situation. Like, we could have very well not been having this conversation. I had the chance to. Do y'all really understand what happened? This person took $50,000 in cash out of their bank account and paid another person to do a job for them. Like, this is real. This is real life. So I need y'all to take the situation seriously. Like, we can laugh or whatever about it today, but I need y'all to understand in the back of your head, this is real. Okay? So with that in mind, knowing how real the situation is, and this person is around playing, living a life, having surgeries and BBLs and going to see Monica like nothing ever happened, I know that infuriates you a bit because it infuriates me. And then to see the situation turn around Monica last night, for Monica to go on Twitter and denounce her, and I'm laughing. I'm very much laughing.
Yeah.
Keep embarrassing yourself.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of this is embarrassing at this point. Even the attempts to have damage control are even embarrassing at this point. Looking at this person's profile from the things that used to be posted and the way that they were posted to where it is now, it's all embarrassing for this person. And this person is huge on image, very huge on image. Anytime they would get into it with someone, that was the first thing they would say, I'm going to embarrass them, And so to know that this is what they're going through now, I know that they are severely affected. But that is still not enough for me. I will be satisfied in the end.
Everybody wants to know, what does to your satisfaction mean? I'll answer it. Because y'all making me mad. She's going to jail. Like, y'all don't get
Not
it?
even just that, but it's the duration at which they will spend. It is, you know, everything tied to it. I have some private things going on that the public will be made aware of in due time. So that is a part of my satisfaction. When I say I'm seeing this through at 100%, you will see I'm seeing this through at 100%. So while I can't speak on everything in its totality right now, I can assure you that this is not going away. This is not the last of you hearing about Dr. Derricka Harwell and what she has to do and say about any of this.
Okay. I have one last question for you that everyone keeps asking in the comments. In your personal opinion, because you are in the same field as she is in with the lifestyle marketing and things like that, do you believe that the way that she marketed herself and being allegedly deceptive by not speaking the truth on how she gained the $1 million, do you believe that that was a scam?
I think the marketing aspect was brilliant. From a business perspective, just me being a businesswoman. Do I think it was predatory? Absolutely. But I think that from a business perspective, it's brilliant. It's the same way that you would look at other individuals in different industries and dissect their marketing tactics. Do I think that being dishonest about the way that you acquired your wealth and you market that, I think that that can definitely be perceived as a scam. Um, I'm someone that's huge on honesty, though, and transparency. I feel like you would gain so much more from being honest because it would be, look how I took 1 million and I made it into 10 million. Look how I took this and I did it into that. You know, to me, that still, you know, is boss. You know, people, you know how many lottery winners and jackpot winners file bankruptcy within the first 3 years? Over 75%. So a lot of people fumble the bag. So if you didn't fumble the bag, I still feel like this is something that could have been huge for you, but you chose to, you know, market it the way that you wanted to. So, do I feel like it was deceptive to market a way that you haven't lived? If you didn't truly live that way and that wasn't your story, then absolutely. And you shouldn't be in the business of deceiving people in order to gain their trust, to gain their business, because now who's going to trust you? Not only that, you make it far more difficult for other people that are in your exact same industry that truly have those stories, that truly have those circumstances, that truly live that lifestyle. And now they're looking at everybody sideways. Like, did you really do this? You know, did you really have, are these all your kids, Dr. Harwell? You know, like it has everyone looking, you know, a particular way. So now you have to work twice as hard to make sure that people can see who you truly are and what you're truly about.
All right. Well, you answered that very greatly. You articulate yourself very well. Very well
Thank
spoken.
you.
You are literally everything that I thought that person was and that person wants to be.
Wow.
So you are just a great person.
Thank
You
you.
represent our community very well. And I thank you for joining me and agreeing to do this interview, giving us all clarity because you did not have to do that. You didn't have to
Absolutely.
let this
Thank you for
into your
having
world.
me.
I
Thank you. And thank
definitely
you again. Let me tell you this. Thank you so much because I felt like the way that you were displaying things, you protected all the victims. And no matter what was heard about me, what was heard about Patrick, what was said about Sherelle, you know, I too am on social media. So I heard, oh, they're clout chasing, or they were accusing Sherelle of this, or saying Patrick was an abuser and saying that I'm a scammer. You know,
yeah.
one of the things that I loved about you is that you protect every single person, you know, that was on here. Like, listen, they're victims. None of them asked to be in this particular light. And so you took what is perceived to be something that's just on social media and you made it true journalism. Like, let me really do my homework on this. Let me really do this. And I can't say that for every single person, you know what I mean? And they don't realize how damaging it is until they're in the hot seat, you know, that they didn't even ask to be in. So on behalf of, you know, everyone that may go through a circumstance, you are truly appreciated. And I thank you because it attributed to me having a little more sanity for that day, knowing I wasn't being attacked here on this large platform, knowing that I wasn't going to have to open up my app. I finally see someone that is for me, even though I hadn't spoke out, you know, even though I hadn't said anything. It was so much respect for my privacy and my brand and my business, and just me being a victim that didn't ask for any of this. I thank you so very much. So I was very honored to do this interview with you.
You're welcome.
And from production from production on one question, if you had to leave anything with the viewers, if they come into contact with any opposition that presents them into this matter, what advice would you leave to them? If they come into an opposition that presents yourself into the position that you're in, what advice would you leave to them?
Protect themselves at all costs. Practice a level of restraint that may be foreign to you so you can truly get the result that you desire. It is going to be extremely difficult. It is not going to be easy, but tap into every single resource you have. I'm willing and have tapped into every single resource I have. I'm willing to put every dime I have behind the resolution of this. And stay focused, continue to protect yourself. I have a lot of things that are coming up that I don't post. I'll be speaking at Yale University. I won't post when, I won't post dates and all of that. The old me would put, hey, y'all, I'm going to Yale, I'm doing this. So protect yourself by any means that you possibly can. And make sure that you maintain your composure. If you're not feeling good that day, do not get on social media. Do not post. Do not have a conversation with someone. And lastly, don't talk to a lot of people, because you'd be surprised at how many people in your circle will leak information for clout, for gain, for likes, and all of that kind of stuff. So make sure that the people that are in your circle are actually in your corner.
All right. Well, thank you
You
so much.
okay?
Yes, I don't know what's going on. I think my contact messing up because I was getting kind of emotional over there. But
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think we're wrapping up the interview. I want you to go and enjoy the rest of the night with your family. I know you had a busy day. I had a busy day as well. And yeah, we're gonna wrap up the interview. I'm not gonna ask any more questions, y'all. I'm sorry. I know y'all in college, y'all are being so petty. Y'all are so petty. We're not gonna do that. If y'all got any more questions, y'all can ask me.
I can't even see them.
From production, this was an amazing interview. I've learned a lot just from production. And
they want to see your face.
From the behind the scenes, I've learned a lot from production, and this is really a great interview. And I hope a lot of people have learned a lot from this interview, have learned what to do in the same intervention or what not to do.
They were in the same situation.
Without being in the same intervention, or just the empowerment above it all.
They want to know your social media handles and how they can join your Facebook groups and stuff.
Absolutely. So you can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/Mrs. Derricka Harwell. You can follow me here on TikTok. I am Dr. Derricka Harwell. On Instagram, I'm Dr. Derricka Harwell. And on Twitter, I'm Dr. Derricka Harwell. Super simple. My Facebook group is called D Harwell Private Group. It is a 100% private group and 100% free. I go in that group and I give free resources, free information, free education, grants, all types of stuff. You get accessibility to me there, where I sow into you and I sow into your business, and assist as many as I possibly can in that group. You can also be a part of my VIP text subscribers. So you can text Derricka, my first name, to 844-711-RICH. And again, that's 844-711-RICH. And it's 844-711-RICH because I make a lot of people a lot of money. So make sure you text me so you can stay in on the know.
All right. Sounds good. They want me to play.
Thank you.
She ate it up as a closer, but I can't because they will block this live. So
Oh, Lord. You should have the petty people from the
yeah, they are.
Lord.
They must be in this
goodness,
because they are really petty tonight. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
From production, this was a really great live. It was a really empowerment to people, and if people were able to tag into it, this was really great for people that want to empower their business, that have came in contact with adversities.
She's all about business empowerment. Really, and if you join her Facebook group, and she actually posts a lot of grants and stuff in there. So if you're a small business, or if you know someone who has a small business and they are looking for funding, definitely check her out. Like,
yes, please. I put over $500,000 worth of grants into that group. And then I do actual lives where you can interact with me, and I teach you how to structure your business to be able to receive it, positioning yourself to be able to receive that free money as well. So that's the D Harwell private group. I do a lot that you're always supposed to give more than what you're paid for, but the community is where my heart is. It's why I'm so well decorated. So get into that group, get the information, get the education, and be successful. That's your birthright.
It's free to join.
Yes, it's free.
And
So thank you so much. I'm going to end this live, okay?
Okay.
You have a great night, all right?
You have a beautiful night. Thank you so very much.
All right.
All right.